welcome back to redheart.com as well as the Crochet Crowd. I'm Mikey here from the Crochet Crowd, and today is video number 3 where we're assembling your entire Afghan together. We're putting all the components of the squares and the octagons together, and I'm going to show you tips on how I did it. And of course, if you have your own methods that you most prefer, you're more than welcome to do that as well. So join me today as we put everything together. If you missed the other 2 videos for this is the octagon and the squares throw, and you will see 2 other videos that you can see on how to make this particular throw right from start to finish. So you're on step number 3. You will have needed 20 of these octagon shapes. If you're following the color scheme inside the Red Heart pattern, you will need 10 octagon shapes that are identical color and then 10 of another, just like so. But that doesn't mean you have to follow that pattern 100%. You can mix and match the colors any style that you really wanted to. So you just need 20 of those. Then you will have finished these little squares. And again, if you're following the pattern, you will have only needed 6 of the one kind of color and then 6 of another. Again, if you're mixing and matching your colors, you just need a total of 12. So these are now going to work in combination to each other in order to attach them together. So when we look down here on the table, what I decided to do is that I'm going to be attaching the squares to the points of the octagon on all sides, just like so. And I'm going to come back afterward and I'm going to sew these together. So I'm just going to go all the way around in one circle in order to just attach these together. Now when you're doing this, when I'm going to attach the next one, I'm simply just going to put another square in, just like so, and I'm going to look at the color scheme and see what's going on with it. And then when I go to sew this one in now, I'm going to go all the way around just like so. So we just want to continue to build and build on top of this Afghan. But in this tutorial today, I'm going to show you how I sew this, because you cannot see where I stopped and I started because I'm that fabulous. But when you turn it over as well, look how amazing that looks. Just like so. So it is sewn. Some people prefer to crochet, but this is just an idea. So if you have a preferred method of attaching, I welcome you to do that. So now let's get started on showing you how to attach your squares and your octagons together. So to begin, I'm going to use the same color of string that is on the outside of the motif, just like so. In this case, it is blue. And on the one side of it, I put in a slip knot, just like you would as if you were going to start to crochet, and then I just have it going through my darning needle, just like this. So now I'm going to look. It doesn't matter which one I start off with, as long as I start off in a corner. And I'm just going to start off with the one, and I'm going to go right into the corner section of the motif here. And I'm going to go right into the corner of the motif of the square. And I'm going to make sure that I grab both of the stitches, so both on the top. Okay, so it's just going to be matching the stitches together. Now you will have noticed that when they were on top here, you won't think that they go well together, but they actually stretch together. And a lot of people, when they go to make these kind of Afghans, they make it to the point where when you put things together that it kind of buckles up or kind of puckers up. And that's because they didn't allow for the stretch. So I just kind of went around, just like that. And so what I want to do now is that I have in my, my straggler, just like so. So I'm just going to work my way along the edge, grabbing the stitches. There should be the same amount of stitches on here as there is on one side of the octagon, and vice versa, going all the way around. So even though you can't see it, see how it stretches? You can see that that makes a lot of sense when you do that. So this is the straggler. I want to keep it on the top. So I'm just going to use the string, and every time I go and I just move along. So I'm just matching stitch to stitch on both sides of the motifs. And I'm using the straggler, keeping the straggler on top, because as I'm doing that, this top section is trapping that straggler underneath. So therefore you will never see it, because you don't want to give an Afghan away if you got stragglers. So I'm just continuing to work my way across. I actually really like this process. I know that some crocheters really dread the process of putting things together. But you know, I figured myself, you know, you've already spent most of your time making the Afghans. This process, I find it very therapeutic and just really kind of just relaxing, and it doesn't really take that long. It's not as fast as crochet. But you know, you've already done the hard work. So as you can see, you're kind of just going along and just putting things together. And I'm going to continue, and I'm just going to meet you up at the next corner where I'm going to show you what to do there. So I'm coming up to the next corner, and for example, say you're running out of stitches on one side or another. This is where you can fake it, and this is where you allow crocheters creativity, really, is if you end up with an extra stitch, which I don't in this particular case here, but if you did, you just have to just make sure you sew it so it looks like it's even, and therefore you don't have to redo another motif if you don't have to. So I'm right in the corner of the octagon. I'm right in now the corner of the square, and now I'm just immediately going to jump to the next motif. So I'm just going to simply turn my work. I don't have to turn these ones here. I just did that for a visual. But I'm going to go into the corner of the next motif and go into the exact same corner where you finished that last one off, so that it really does a nice tight butt join there to bring it together. And again, just like we worked along this side, we're going to do the same on this side, just working our way all the way around, just like so. So continue that, and I'll meet you up in a second where we'll add another one. And eventually we're going to finish off, and I'm going to show you how to hide in your yarn string at the end so that you don't have any stragglers hanging out of your work. So we're just finishing off the next corner just like so. So you can see how it's kind of pulling things together. So it wasn't that close before. It's now time for this one here, and I now want to go into the corner of this octagon, and I want to go into the same corner where we just pulled that other one out of to tighten that on, and again work my way across. Now, one thing I didn't mention when I first started is that you will notice that the motifs have a good side and a bad side, and for example, they look slightly different. So this is the other side of that, and just like that. So you want to make sure that when you're putting things down that you actually can see that difference, and hopefully that makes sense for you as well to be able to identify that as well. So as you're working along, any kind of loose ends that you left in on the edges of these motifs, this sewing aspect is going to trap everything into position permanently as well. So that's why we didn't have you worry about too much of the stragglers when we had you just weaving them in and out when you were making these motifs as you went along. So you're now in the next corner, and I'm going to corner in here. Okay, and then the next one is the brown, and I'm going to go into the corner of the brown. You notice I didn't look in which corner I should just grab. It's an octagon, so it doesn't really matter. It should all be the same anyway. And just again going stitch to stitch all the way down. You will notice that your string will also start to unravel a little bit. It kind of untwists. I think people may know a good reason for why that happens. I'm really not sure myself. It doesn't really bother me too much, but depending on how long your string is, that could be a real nuisance if that's happening to you. So now just finishing up, I've gone almost all the way around so far, and I just got just a couple more stitches to go. I'm making sure I go corner to corner, and make sure that you come into the same corner that you attached as well when you started, to also create the nice fine butt that you had on the other ones as well. And then once you've done that, is that you just have to secure this into position. So I'm just going to slide my needle underneath, and I'm just going to come back and force it to kind of like tie up over top of itself, just like that. So I just want it to kind of tie onto itself, and then once I've done that, is that I'm just going to take my needle and just glide it in between the stitches, not underneath the work, but just in between the stitches. Sometimes your angle is better. So I'm just going to in between the stitches that I just created, just like that, and I'm just going to pull this out through, and I'm just going to tug on it, tighten it up. That, trim, and then any kind of stragglers that you may have run over to fasten in position as you've gone all the way around, you can fasten those off as well. Just trim those, and voila, you've just created your join just like that. So now I'm ready to do this little mini section here. Again, a new piece of string, a slip knot on the other side, and I'm just going to start off in the corner where this is already starting off and go to corner like this. And I want to pull it through the slip knot like that to tighten it on top. Here's the straggler just like we had before, and again we just want to work our way across, trapping that straggler on top of the stitches, and that will be putting that in permanently. And you can see that the sewing effect does a really nice tight, really effective, no-brainer kind of join as well. So you don't really see a lot of you know, people are going to have a hard time telling exactly where you did everything, which is kind of the whole point. So you're just matching stitches to stitches again, going in these little sections. So you can do all your little squares up front if you wanted to, and then come back and do all these little mini sections, or you can do it as you go. Again, the creativity is up to you, and you can decide what works for you as well. And once you get to the other side of the line, just like so, just match corner to corner, and then you just kind of want to tie it into a knot just to kind of fasten it onto itself. Worst thing you can have is one of these falling apart on you. Just tying a knot. And then again, just like we had before, I want to just come back and just slip it through a few stitches. Tug on it, and then give it a good trim. And you can see that that is done pretty good, and that would be the other side done as well. Oh, there's a straggler on this side, no big deal. You just trim it and you're good to go.
So there you have it. You have assembled your Afghan, and good luck, and we love to see your creativity, so be sure to post photos on redheart.com's Facebook as well as the Crochet Crowd's Facebook. Until next time, join me next time as we have some more fabulous tutorials lined up just for you. Until next time, I'm your host Mikey here from redheart.com as well as the Crochet Crowd.